Hey everybody, so I have been seeing quite a few people ask, well, how do I size my image for my substrate or my blank? So I kind of picked like a few simple blanks, and then I picked one a little more complex to show you how to make a template and to show you basically how to size your image. So I have this um, mouse pad, and you want to measure your mouse pad. You want to measure your blank so you can get a more kind of a accurate size you want it. And there's a few things that you always should have handy when you're trying to make a template or trying to figure out the size. So you need your measuring tape or ruler or whatever you have on hand. You also need your sticky notepad or something to write on, and you need an ink pen to jot down. So I've already measured it, but I'm going to show you here. So this, you want to measure across from the circle, and so from the end to end, this is 8 inches. So the circle is 8 inches in diameter, and I'm going to be working out of silhouette, so I'm going to be making a template as I measure. So I wrote it down, so that's 8 inches. You want to go over here to your left hand side to your drawing tool, and you want to pick the ellipse tool. Now anytime you want to keep something proportionate, when you draw it on your workboard, you want to hold down shift, click and drag, so that keeps it all the same size, and then you let go. All right, and you see how I still have this cross here. You want to go back to your select tool at the top. That way you can move around your image. So now we don't have the image the size that we wanted, which was 8 inches, because we have it written down. You want to go to your scale tool or transform tool on your right hand side, and you want to hit scale. Another way to keep your items proportionate when you go to change the size in silhouette is you want to hit this lock key. That now makes the width and the height. Anytime you make a change to your width, it will also make a change to your height. So we're going to change it to 8 inches. And all I have to do is click in the height area, and it automatically populates for me. So 8 by 8. And you hit apply. And you will see over here, as soon as you hit apply, it's going to change your size. So now we have an 8-inch diameter circle template. And I went ahead and got an image off of Google just for this tutorial purposes. And I'm just going to click and drag it until it covers my entire circle. All right, so it covers it. And what I'm going to, let me go ahead and right click and duplicate it for the next thing that I'm going to do. Anytime you make changes to something, or you're about to make a change to your project, you always want to select all of it and you want to duplicate it. That way, if you mess it up or you can't get back to the original state, you always have that duplicate that you have. All right, so you want to basically highlight both, click and drag and highlight both. And then you want to go to the right side to your modify panel and crop. So once you crop it, now you have your perfect circle that's going to fit your mouse pad. And I went ahead and cut it out on my silhouette, this template, just to make sure. You always want to make sure you cut it out first before you print out on your Craft and Besties paper, your good paper, because I'm not about wasting no paper now. So you always want to just basically cut out the template just to make sure it fits. And it actually fits perfect. It fits perfect over this mouse pad. So now that you know, once you print it out, you have it. Also too, this one I didn't add a bleed to it, but in order to add a bleed to your substrate, to your blank, to your template, which I would highly recommend. So we have this highlighted. You want to go to your offset panel, and you want to hit offset. What that offset does is it makes this circle even bigger. and a default for the offset is 0.125. So that should allow for just a little extra space around your circle. So when you place it on your, after you print it out and you place it on there, there should be no white left on your blank. So that's basically what the offset is for, is good for. All right, so I'm going to move that to the side. I'm going to right click and group it. So that way I can move both of those objects together. So we did that easy circle. Now we're going to do this, what do you call it? Keychain. I have a little keychain. So we're going to do this. And notice it has that circle in the middle, so you can put the key chain ring or whatever you call it on there. So like I said before, you always want to, let me cross out my circle measurements and move to the next. So I want to measure this. So this looks like it's about 2 1/4. About 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. So it's a perfect square with the rounded edges. So we want to write that down, 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. So that way when we go back to our program, we have that written down. So we're going to go over here back to our left side on our drawing tool. And I'm going to go to, this time, instead of just the regular rectangle, I'm going to use the, what's this thing called? Rounded rectangle. All right, so I'm going to just click and drag. Actually, let me undo that, because like I told you, if you want it to be proportionate, hit shift, click and drag. And there you go. So I have to go back. I can't move it because I have this crosshair here. And so I want to go back to my select tool at the top, highlight it, and then I want to go to my transform panel and scale. So this is going to basically let me change the size that I want it to. Go back to your lock tool, because we want it to be the same size on all 4 sides. And we said it was 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. And then you hit apply and you will see your changes. There you go. Now we have this circle that's on this keychain. And what I'm going to do is measure. Yes, I get precise like this. So we're going to measure this circle. And the circle is about 1/4 inch diameter. So that's what I'm going to go back to my drawing tools, go to circle, hold down shift key, make my circle, and then go back to select tool. And then, hold on 1 second, let me tell my son to quiet down. I'm already taking on break. I am recording. All right, so sorry about that. Okay, so we have our circle, which I said was 1/4 inch. 0.25. And you can always cross out your numbers as you've already drawn it on your workspace. That way you won't get mixed up. So I am already on my select tool. And I want to go, of course, we're still on our transform tool, so we can change the size of our circle. And it's already locked. So I'm going to type in 0.25, 0.25, and then apply. There you go. I'm going to kind of like zoom in. Zoom in is up top. And this is your, you can just click and drag it. This right here, what does it say? Drag over a shape to zoom. And what you do when you click that, you can basically zoom closer in. These are your zoom out tools or your zoom in. Most of the time when it's a smaller object, I just like to go straight to my drag over shape to zoom. So it takes me straight to what I'm trying to view. Okay, so we have this circle, and I'm just going to eyeball it and kind of place it right there. Looks good enough to me. So it basically gives you the same look of this. So when you put your image, where's that image? Remember to duplicate it. When you put your image on here, you will know what will be cut out or what won't show, because that circle is there. So say if you wanted to make sure that green, or you didn't cut out any of the green or something like that, I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so we can go right here where that little bit of yellow is. So watch when I select both, click and drag to select both. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Sorry. I could do that, but I'm going to show you something else. You can actually click and drag this, both the circle and this rectangle, rectangle shape, and you can hit make compound path. What that does is it makes it, now this is an opening, and everything else would be one object like this. I just added color to it. You have a color panel up here on your left hand side, which is this one, where you can choose your color, and you have your line color panel up here on the left hand side as well. And you also have one on your right hand side. So it's your color panel here and your line panel here. But yes, so when you hit make compound path, what it does is it cuts that little circle out, and it leaves you with your entire substrate blank. So it looks like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just place this back here. I'm going to click and drag both of them, and then I'm going to go to my modify panel and hit crop. And crop basically crops out your image in that template that you just made. So now you know what will be missing in that spot. And I actually cut out also this, I cut it out before I print. And look at that. Just from me eyeballing it, it came out pretty good to me. So that, and again, you always want to add your offset. So you have your image selected. You want to go to your offset panel on the right, and then you want to hit offset. Like I said, I normally go with the default offset. So that would give you plenty of space to have extra, just in case, if you know, because sometimes these blanks, they don't make them the same size, so you always want to have that offset just in case. Let's see. Okay, also when you're doing your offset, you can click your template. We're on offset, hit offset. Let's see, did I get the circle in it? Oh. But yeah, you pretty much know where, okay, where did I have it? Right here. So your offset, you already have your template, so you already know what's going to be cut out. You can select your image and your offset template, and then hit crop. So that way it has more there. The actual template is just basically so you can see what's going to be cut out. You don't want to cut out people's faces and stuff. So, alright, so we did that. I'm going to select both, right click, and group just to move it to the side. I'm going to right click this and duplicate it. What else do I have? Okay, so I also have this wine bottle holder. So to make this template, of course, like I said, you always want to, let me scratch out my other measurement. You want to measure from end to end. And right now we're just going to focus on the outer edges. So you want to measure from that side to this side, which is 9.5 inches. All right, so 9.5, 9.5 by, let's see, I'll say about 5 by 5. So 9.5 by 5. So we're gonna go to our, of course, shape tool, grab our rectangle, and this time we don't have to hit shift because this one is not the same size all the way around. So we're just gonna click and drag, and we're gonna go to our transform panel, scale, and we're going to put it to 9.5 by 5, and then you hit apply, and now you have your 9.5 by 5 template for that. Okay, slide this over. Okay, so now we have, let's see what I want to work on. Okay, I work on the corners. The corners, basically, what I did was I measured from, how did I do that? It's basically about half, about 0.75. So from, I just lined, okay, what I did was I lined it up from this edge of the wine bottle holder to this edge. So kind of just like straighten it up, add it to the edge, and then it hits about right here at 0.75. So I'm going to make me a circle. And this is where, you know, your shapes come into play. You want to pay attention to what shape you see, what shapes can you use on in your program. So I see basically a distorted circle here, but I'm going to just use a circle for now, or an arch circle. So click our circle, hold down shift, and drag, and I said it was 0.75. So I'm going to go to my transform and scale tool, and we're going to hit this lock button. Why? Because we want to keep it proportionate. And I'm going to put 0.75, 0.75, and then apply, and you should see your changes on the side. Then you want to hit your move tool. This one, since it's not really a full circle, I'm just going to, and this is why it takes a long time too to make, for people to make templates, to get things right, because you're kind of just figuring it out like I am. So since it's not a full circle, I'm just going to use 1/4 of the circle, and I think I'm going to place it right there. And we want to do this to all 4 sides. This little hand tool thing here is to move it. Just click and drag it, and you can drag your whole work area over. So I'm going to make sure my circle is selected. Go to Object, Replicate, and I'm going to replicate a column of 4. Instead of me having to click it, copy, paste, click it, copy, paste. You just want to go to your object and replicate it. I'm going to do the same thing for my other 3 sides. And notice that, hold on, let me zoom in. Notice that when you click your object, you have this circle in the middle. That's your center of rotation mark. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to just use that as my guide, and I'm going to put it right here to the edge of this point here on all four sides. Sometimes it can be annoying, but then sometimes it's beneficial, like in this case. So it's helping me align my circle against my rectangle. Okay, so now we want to basically cut out this area. So I'm going to highlight this circle and rectangle. I'm going to go to my modify panel and hit crop. Oh, no, I lied. I want to hit highlight the circle and the rectangle and hit subtract, so we can subtract just that area from it. And then I'm going to do the same thing for this one. Subtract, highlight both, subtract, and I am not sure if I don't think you can highlight all of it and subtract at the same time, so that's why I do it separately for that part. Alright, so now we have that, and then we want to, there's a circle in the middle, so we want to see how wide, how big that circle is, that diameter of it. It is 1.5 inches. So let me get my circle tool, shift, I want it to be proportionate, click and drag, let go, select my move tool, go to my scale, and I want to hit the lock button. See, y'all, I keep forgetting to write it down. What did I say it was? 1.5 inches. My head is bad. Okay, so 1.5. All right, type in that in your width, and then click your height, and they both are the same thing. So hit apply to see your changes. There you go. And so now you want to click your rectangle and your circle. We're going to go to the scale under your transform panel, and you want to hit center. So that now places your everything in the center of your rectangle. So now we have that in the center, and we have this on the outside. So it's starting to take shape. Okay, for these sides now, we have to, or what I do is I measure from the tip of this circle here to the edge of it, and that gives me about 1.75. 1.75 by, so after you measured the length, you want to measure the width. This width is 1/2 inch. Don't worry about the circle yet. So basically going back to your shapes, rectangle tool, just draw it out, and then we're going to make it, what did I say, 1.75. So transform tool, scale, and you want it at 1.75 width. And then for the height, was that the height? Did I get that right? We're about to find out. Yes. So it's 1.75 for the height on this one. I'm sorry, 1.75 for the width and 0.5 for the height. All right, so we have that. Now this circle part, let's measure, even though it's not a full circle, we still want to measure the diameter of it, which is 1/2 inch. So now we want to get our circle tool again. Hold down shift, click and drag, let go. Get our move tool, go back to our scale, make sure it's locked. Then you want to hit 0.5 and everything else will change. All right, let me zoom in so we can see what we're doing. And since I measured the rectangle all the way to the tip of the circle, we're going to place this here to the top of that rectangle and kind of like place it in the middle. So it's going to be on the top of that rectangle, and then it's going to be centered right here. Now what we want to do is select both. Let's see, did I hit weld? Nope. Undo. How did I do that? I want to hit. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my square. And this takes like a lot of figuring out sometimes. I am going to, what am I going to do? Make that, turn that black, send it to the back. And then, let's see, what would I do next? Let's see. One sec. Nope. How did I do that? Nope. Let's figure this out. I know. I did. I moved that. Oh. Let's see if I do this. Okay, select that rectangle, and we want to drag this in to the middle of that circle. Bam, right there. Okay, yeah, that's what I did. Okay, so you want to drag it into the middle of that circle, and then you want to select both, right click, and let's see if weld. Nope. I'm sorry, hold on. That was a half an inch. Well, that was a half an inch. Let's undo that, because this was actually smaller. So my measurements could have been wrong. Let's do how did I do that? Let's do 0.25 for this rectangle. Oops, wrong one. Alright, so if I do it like that, and then I select both, I'm going to hit weld. And then you have that shape there. And like I said, sometimes it just takes a little while for you to just to figure it out and get it how you want it, your template. Gonna line this up to close to the edge. Oh, and a shortcut way of for you to get something aligned, these two lines together, you just select both. You go to of course your transform tool, and you go to align, and you want to hit align left on the horizontal, and that now drags that up against this rectangle. All right, let's zoom out. So we have that side. I want to select that object, replicate to the right. Let me go ahead and select both of these and go to your transform, align, and align middle. So that now puts that in the middle. Select that object. We're going to mirror this, flip horizontally, and we're going to do the same thing for this one. So click and drag. Actually, hold on. Let's click both of these to, oops, Just click all of these to group it. So when we move these two to align it, everything will shift at the same time. So click both, transform, all right, align, and then we want to align it to the right. And then we will also want to align to the middle. All right. So now we can click it and ungroup. Now, in order for you to weld something, they have to be overlapping. So I'm going to just select this and just hit the arrow, right arrow key over just a little bit so that way it can weld. So I'm going to select this and that, right click and hit weld. Nope. Select, I don't know if I'm sorry, you don't want to weld that. You want to subtract it. All right, so you're going to do the same thing for this one. You want to highlight this. You want to left click so that it overlaps a little bit. Select both and hit subtract. Now we have this shape. Same shape as the wine bottle holder. And I've already cut out this. And it looks like it fits pretty good to me. It just has a little bit of white right here. But again, like I said, that's where the offset comes in at. But it fits pretty good. See how that fits here? And that circle fits perfectly. So, what was I going to show you? Okay, oh, yeah, this. So now we can just click and drag this photo. Let's do our offset first. Click this. Go to your offset. Hit offset. That's the default. Alright, so now we can pretty much see what is going to be cut out of this image. So you see that circle in the middle of that Easter egg is going to be cut out, and this area here is going to be cut out. Anywhere you have your openings, and of course right here. So I am going to do it as if I didn't have the offset. I'm going to just select these, make compound path, and then put my image here. Right click, not right click, just select both, and then you want to go to your crop, your modify tool, and hit crop. So there, that's what you would have. Let me put it over here. And to change the size of your mat, you just need to select your page setup, and then you can change it to the size that you want, 12 by 12. All right, and so you have your template. That looks pretty darn close to the actual blank. So that's it. I just wanted to show you guys just a little bit on how to measure. So if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments, and I'll be happy to try to answer them. And I hope this tutorial helped. Bye.